Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. The planting is well underway now, we are almost finished. What we're going to do is we're going to follow this one down to the end of the fields, and then we're going to swap over so that we've got the bigger tractor on the seed drills. Not because we need the bigger tractor on the seed drill, it's because we need the smaller tractor with the front loader option so that we can go and unload our pallets of lime that we've got up over there, and also the pallet of herbicide. I mean, yeah, we're not actually going to be using them, and the plan is to just stick them to one side until we actually are ready to start doing our harvest. But at the same time, we still need to get them unloaded. We still need to get them moved out of the way so that we don't have to worry about them. Interestingly, I just watched this because I thought this one had done a really good turnaround at this end of the field last time it came through, because looking at the pattern on the ground, and it looked like it had stopped at the top of the little ramp that we've got there and been a really good boy. Turns out that it did no such thing, because I just watched it just now scramble down over this bank like it's doing right now, and then turn around and scramble back up again. I mean, now it's not quite so difficult for it, but yeah, it definitely doesn't favor the bank. So we're going to need to do something else about that, I think. I mean, probably it's just going to be, we're going to need to either put something there, put a fence along there or something like that, or just like go round the outside of the field a couple times, because that's what we really need to do, is just go round the outside of the field a few times. Anyway, we don't really need to worry about it. I suppose I should take off the wheel weights and the front weight as well for this particular job, because we don't want all that compaction on the fields. And this is supposed to be a realistic hardcore series, not just a let's do what we fancy hardcore series. So let's actually do that then, shall we? We will put you over there and we will take that front weight off. Then we will go and remove the wheel weights as well. We'll leave the wide tyres on, but we won't use wheel weights. And that way then we can use the seed drill properly. We're not going to be excessively compacting down the field. So I'll bring you over to there, like that, and jump into here. We go to customize, and we go wide tires and weights, narrows, rear twins. Okay, that could be pretty cool, except that's $1,000, which we don't have. That's $3,000 that we don't have. Standards, wheel weights, wides, wide tires and weights. You know, if I just clicked that arrow, I wouldn't have had to go through them all. Customize, yes. Right. We've removed the weights from the wheels. That's much better. Now we're not going to have excessive compaction. We've got the wide tires to help reduce the compaction issues as well. That's a really big plus in the fight against compaction. I'll bring you over here like this, and you can get going. I'm not going to do anything else with you apart from just hook you up and leave you going right here on this point. There isn't anything else that we actually need to do with it, really. There's nothing else that we need to worry about with it, so just set you down there. And away you go. Right. You're doing a grand job. I've got complete, total faith in you. And you even stopped when I stepped in the way. That's perfect. So now we can use this tractor here. We can get these pallets unloaded and get them put away somewhere. I'm not quite sure we're going to put them. And also, it's going to be interesting getting them unloaded because of the whole, you know, me doing it with keyboard steering thing. It's certainly going to make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, I do have my joystick, which I'm using. So I'm not doing it all with, like, the mouse controls. I'll be using the joystick for the actual pallet fork bit, but that doesn't make it any easier. Actually, I suppose it does make it a little bit easier. That makes it a little bit easier, but not a huge amount. There. Right, now we'll bring you over this way. I suppose it is actually a little bit easier to use this one than it is to use the forklift over at the dealership, to be honest. Only because I can, you know, the wheels are sort of lining up the right way. Now, I reckon it would probably be easier still. Is that gonna... It is. Look at that. It's going to actually let me load that. Okay, so I can pick those two up. The only problem we've got is that I can't actually pick them up. can do that. I can pick one of them up. And I don't really want to pick that one up like that. I need to... You know what? I'm not going to be able to pick the two of them up together, so I'm just going to set that one down a minute, and I'm going to get my front weight, which I probably should have had to start with. There's a lot of weight in that lime, isn't there? Right, I know that it's 2,000 litres, but I didn't think lime was quite that heavy. I thought that the whole litres thing was just the volume of it, and it didn't have anything to do with the weight. But the weight of it does indeed seem to be on a par with the really heavy stuff. So I'll drag you down like that. And I'm going to plonk you next to the other one. Set you down there like that. There. And then we're going to see if we can get both of them picked up, because I do want to be able to move two of these around at once. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put them yet. I mean, I'm thinking I'm actually going to put them up against that barn there. I'm not right up against. We're going to go, we'll drive round the other side and then bring them up and put them between the barn and the sheep pen. That's probably the best point that we've got for placing those. Twist that up a little bit. Maybe, there we go. Nice. Now that's better. That's more like it. Look, see, we've actually got that there. It's on there where it should be. The pallet appears to be dancing around a little bit, and it is pressing down an awful lot. We got it's a very powerful lever sort of working on that, isn't there? But overall, it seems to be okay. So we're going to bring this one here, and I'm going to bring it on round this corner, and we're going to stuff them in here. This is where we're going to hide all of these for now. Maybe we'll move them somewhere else later, but right now, I think this is the perfect spot. Oops. Okay, they're still very, very heavy. We got a lot of weight on these pallets. I've got this huge, great big weight on the back of the tractor. Oh, great. Now I got this whole thing happening. And this is something that, you know, I don't like about the in-game pallets, is the way that they get stuck. Look at that. It's completely stuck on there. That's not going anywhere, is it? Right, that shouldn't be like that. There. Right, it's now moved a bit. I should be able to... That's terrible. This is what I don't like about... I mean, yeah, it is on an angle right there, but it shouldn't have gotten it stuck up on the pallet like that. And that was partly not because of how the pallet was. It was partly because of the whole physics between the pallet fork and the pallet itself. So picking two of them up at once, yes, it's very, very heavy, but what they were doing was they were kind of bouncing around, and so they bounced around a little bit too much and got stuck inside the actual pallet fork, which is something that does happen fairly frequently in this game. It's a little bugbear of mine, and this is something that contributes to the front loaders not behaving in a realistic fashion. It's because they keep... You know, everything keeps dancing around. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? The game is really good when it comes to physics, and the bale physics in particular. Look at that. See the way that pallet is trying to drive itself off of that pallet fork there? Bale physics in particular, I've been very impressed with this time round. They so much better than last time. Bale physics are very fast approaching real-life bales. And that is a huge step forward, considering the quality of the bale physics last time round. The fact that we're approaching very rapidly realistic bale handling in the game is a massive, massive thing. It's amazing. It really is. And I do appreciate that coding accurate physics is insanely difficult. But, and here it is, the big but, being able to... Yeah, I appreciate that it is difficult to code this stuff, but that doesn't stop it from being really, really horribly frustrating to play when the pallets don't do things that they're supposed to do, and they do things that they're not supposed to do. Right? That, it really does spoil the game, and there's one thing with bale physics and pallet physics as well, and that's the way that they keep trying to jump themselves off What I'm having to do is I'm having to treat these things in ways that I wouldn't normally. I would never, in real life, drive around with something like that hooked up like that. But if I drive around with it like that in the game, it bounces itself right off the pallet forks. It'll even try and do it while it's crowded right back like that. It will still try to bounce it up and off the pallet forks. And this is a source of eternal frustration to me. Right? It really does irritate me phenomenally because it's not supposed to do that. It's not even close is it supposed to do that. It is supposed to... See, I'm just going to shove those up against there like that. It's supposed to sit there, but it doesn't just sit there. It tries to bounce its way off, and it doesn't like it. Now, obviously, if I'm carrying 2 pallets at once, there's something that you don't tend to do quite so much of in real life. You do it. I've seen it done plenty of times, and I've seen people doing it plenty of times. It is possible, but it's not something that you would do all that often. I mean, if you've got steel frames like this, and you've got materials coming in, yeah, I know plenty of people that would go for double pallets on it, and would be able to do so quite well. Right, they wouldn't have any issue with it. They wouldn't have any problems with it. They would pick up 2 pallets at once. I know people that use wide pallet forks, and I've used wide pallet fork mods in the game. And again, you get the problem with the dancing pallets. They all sort of rub up against each other and then dance themselves off the forks and things like that. And it's really annoying. It's really frustrating. So, if I was a programmer of a game like this, I can tell you one thing for certain. I would not want to be involved with working on the physics engine that is responsible for like the bale handling, the wood handling, and all of those sorts of things, because of just how incredibly frustrating I would find it to work on that. So yeah, there are a number of bugs and issues with the game that can be laid quite fairly, I feel, at Giant's feet. And we all know this. There are things that they've done and they've dealt with, and they've dealt with very, very quickly and done so very well. And this is admirable, it really is. But there are other things that have been done, that are done, that shouldn't have happened, that did happen, or there's little bugs in the game that could be fixed that haven't been fixed. And these are frustrations that can be laid at Giant's feet. We can say, look, you're the devs, you should have fixed this, and they haven't. I mean, to be fair, most of the little complaints and jitteriness of the game has now been sorted. And there are still some complaints sort of going around about different things. In particular, it's not so much the game itself as things that should have been in the base game that weren't put in the base game, and that a lot of people do feel should have been in the base game because of the, you know, it's become such a standard for so many mods to, like, certain mods have been created and they've become such a standard for everybody using the game that the fact that they're not in the base game is somewhat disappointing. And that's, again, it's a complaint that can be put squarely at Giant's feet and can't really be put on something else. Ooh, I'm struggling to get that one off of there. The whole thing with the physics, however, that's not something that can just be... You can't just point the finger at Giants and say, look, the physics isn't very good, it's your fault. That's an unfair accusation to place against them. It's not their fault. It's the fact that we don't yet have the coding to be able to implement something like that in any game. There lots of games with loads of collidable and movable objects and things. Because you've got to remember, it's not just an object that can collide and fall about. It's got to be able to be picked up. It's got to be moved. It's got to have set mass. It's got to, you know, it's 10,000 different things have got to be done to it at all times. And that's what makes it a lot more difficult. That's really what sort of sets apart the physics. And the fact that they've gotten to where they have with the physics, I think, is nothing short of amazing. Wait a minute. It's supposed to jump to this one. Why are you out of sequence? I haven't reset anything. But it's still... And I wonder if it's because I did the customization in the shop. Because it was these two together. And now it's not. I've got them in between. Right, anyway, what I want to do a second, while we're letting that one turn round, is I need to reset these to the shop. So you can reset there. You're returning to the shop. That's what they're doing. The Hulk can reset. Yes. That's being returned to the shop. And that bit as well. There. Right, those have gone back to the shop now. We have very, very nearly finished... Oh, there's a little tiny patch there. There's another little tiny patch over by the sign over there that has miraculously grown back again, as it always does. We've almost finished the planting. We've got 133 litres of barley left. 15% left in this one. I'm minus $1,000. It doesn't look like I'm going to have enough to finish this field, because even though I may have enough to finish the stripes over here, I'm definitely not going to have enough to be able to go and finish all of that section over there as well, which means that we're going to need a little bit of money just to be able to finish this off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this one right here, and I'm going to cut down 3 trees. That's all, only 3, because we need to do this quickly. We need to very quickly get some cash so that we can... get a little bit of seed to go into that seed drill and finish off that job. That's down to 12% now. So it's... I don't know if it's even got enough to finish that bit right there. So I will cut down... Yeah. I reckon 3 trees would be enough. There's 2 logs on that one. I mean, maybe we could do a little bit more than 3 trees. We'll definitely do these 3 down here. Lift that up a little bit. Take you over there. How are we going to do this? There we go. Oop. Okay, that danced up a little bit too high for my tastes right there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So there's another 2 logs there. I don't know how much we get for these. I know the big trees, we can get like $500 a log for the biggest logs, the 7-meter logs. These slightly smaller trees here, I don't know what we're going to be getting. Well, slightly smaller, very, very small trees. We're going to be getting a lot less cash. Like these trees here, some of these, they're barely 2 logs coming out of them. Maybe we'll get just a few more. We've got a couple more up here we can trim off. So if I get 2 more trees, maybe, that'll make 5 trees altogether, and 4 of them so far have been rather small trees. So there's that one there. And then, what else am I looking for? I'll get that one right there, I think. That's the final tree that we're going to want. Bring you over like that. And, right. I would say that would be it. There. Chop that one there, and then I'll go and get the log trailer. I'm not going to like what I have been doing is, you know, I load it up and then I carry it down to the bottom and then we reload it. We're not going to do anything like that. We won't worry about any of that. Nothing like that. I'll switch you off there, and then we want to go to this one. And yeah, it doesn't matter if I've got 2 loads, 2 things on there. Switch to, right, it's on the right at the moment, which is where I want it. So I can turn the auto load facility on. And then we can go up here. Right, so we need to go a little bit slow as we go up to this bit. All of the timber is right there, and they're both loading on the back one, so I'm going to switch that to the front one. I'm hoping that switched. Just there. And then you go up this side of that stump. That's better. That's what I want. Let's get them to there. Go on, a little bit higher. There's only a few more logs left to pick up. Okay, we really don't have very much timber on this load, do we? We put the straps onto it. That should... it should still be enough, though. I need 1,200... Well, I could actually do about 1,500, I think. I've got 12 litres left in that seed drill now. 12 litres, that's it. That log sticking out the back. So we need to get over here pretty quick. We get that 12 litres. That'll be planted, and then he's got to come back over here and sort of finish off the rest of it. You know, it's only a thin strip down the side of the field, so that 12 litres might be enough for him to get all the way down to the end of the field and then say, job done. And if he does do that, that's great. I got no complaints with him doing that. And then we can bring him back and we can reload it just for that last little bit down the bottom. Around the rock. And we're going to do all of the stuff around the rock. I was wondering about whether we should get a shed. But no, I'm not going to worry about that. We will plant everything around the rock. The fertilizer has already been done. It's got 3 layers of fertilizer. Right, no, 2 layers of fertilizer, isn't it? Right across the field. It's got all the fertilizer that it needs. That's all we need to know about that. And Helper A has completed their task. Fan-schmastic. And we can come in here and sell that lot for $4,000. That is more like it. Right. So $4,000 in there. I'll take this one back over to the yard a minute. And then we can go and get our tractor. And we can go and refill that one with $2,900 sat here. That is enough that we can refill everything. I mean, I'll probably just refill the seed drill right up to the very brim. And then we'll just store it in the yard full of seed. And let's... Okay, I didn't crash. I honestly thought I was about to smack into the wall then. Drifting around the corner in a massive, great big truck like this is probably not the best idea. We've done the whole Boulder Canyon drift before. And there I'm doing it again, right across the field. I really should not be doing this, right? This is not the sort of fun and games that we should be playing with a large truck like this. It's not a trucker's derby or anything like that. Right. Derby, derby. Derby, derby. Same thing. Oh. Well, that wasn't supposed to have happened. We're going to have to manually plant this all the way through here. So I think what it's done is it's gone a little bit too far over to one side. So it didn't actually plant the grain up through. But if I go through... Yeah, and now it's planting a lot more litres. Look, see? 6. And it's still leaving some patches. And down to 5 litres. I'll plant what I can up through here. Because obviously where it was over just now is like working on the road bit. It's left some bits behind. That's not quite so good. Because that also means that it could possibly give us a bit of trouble later on with different things. Although... No, it doesn't tend to give us trouble, does it? Like, we don't normally get any issues anywhere. I've got an issue right there, look. You see that? I'll bring that in a bit, and I'll go over there. That is still not taking care of it. I've got 1 litre left. Let me go that way. There, that took care of it. I've got another patch over there that hasn't been done properly. And there we are on 0. Is it actually on 0? I think it now has actually run out. It says 0, and I think it's actually run out. Right. I don't know if it's actually run out or not. Whether it's got like a tiny, tiny percentage of something in there. It may have. Because it does some... Like, the game does like hold on to tiny, tiny percentages of things. Doesn't it? Right, let's open up that cover there, and then back you in here like this, lower you down, and reload. Now, I would like to try and get, so there we go, 821 to load that one up. I would like to try and get there's a few little odd bits down the other end of the field. I'd like to get those planted as well, because I want to plant every single inch of the field that we've got, right? If I can plant everything, that would be perfect, because then we can do our full comparison, our little experiment that we want to do with all the yield and everything. So the best way to do that would be to make sure that we plant absolutely every single little tiny square centimetre of these fields all the way through. And that way we've, you know, then we go back and we do it again. When we go back round the second time, we go through and we plant every single little tiny bit of the fields. All the way through. Every bit of it. And that way we've got a really good, accurate comparison. So I can bring you over to there. And we'll run up through here. This should be okay to cultivate. It's you can see, like, the very edge of some of these marks right here. It doesn't quite like it, does it? Right, it's slightly out, and that's just the angle of the field where we did the kind of the remaking of the field right there. That bit there is fine, and mind you, it seems to be coming the other way, but it's only this drill. We've not had this kind of issue with other bits of machinery. There is another little tiny bit down here that I want to do, which was there. There's one bit right there, which we've now got, and then there was another bit there. I can see the wheel marks. The wheel marks are quite good for telling us where the bits are missing. And there's another bit there by the look of it. Right, I'll grab that, and then I'll come over here and take that bit out, and then there's one little bit over near the sign that we left, if we remember. There it is. Grab that bit there. Right, that's planted. Now we can go back to the stone in the middle. There was no other bits over this side. It did a really, really good job of taking everything out on that bit. I was quite impressed with it, actually. I didn't think it would be that accurate with it. And drop you down here, like this. Whiz around the outside of this one, and then we've just got this little tiny triangle bit left on this side, and that is everything planted. And yes, I am turning sharp corners with this one down in the ground, which I am aware is really bad practice. And when I say, like, bad practice, I mean, like, destroy your machine completely bad practice. There's a little strip that we've missed just inside on that bit up against the stone. So we'll go back round again and we'll get all of that. Make sure that we get everything else all the way through. Up there like that. And then we've got a little patch just there. Needs to be picked up. A couple of little patches as we come down through there. And then there's the bit down the bottom. Right there like that. Oop. That didn't quite get everything, did it? Let's reverse up there with the seed drill in the ground, because that's obviously the best way to look after your machinery, isn't it? And then we can just tidy up this little bit. And as soon as we've done this, we have planted all of our barley. And you see that we're already down to 5% used up on this one. So we didn't have any chance whatsoever of being able to do it all in one load. I didn't think we would. I did think that we would be able to finish everything up there. Well, I was kind of doubtful, but yeah, I didn't think that we would be able to get this as well. When we first went and reloaded, I was kind of hopeful, but then we weren't able to quite fill the seed drill up. Although I think we filled to like 93%, so we had like 7% left over, and we've now gone past that amount. So we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. We just didn't have the money at the time. Never mind, it didn't take much for us to get the money. I'm going to do this. This may be horrifying to witness for some of you. Just me doing it like that. And honestly, it's probably a little bit horrifying for me to do. But I do have method to my madness. Because look, I'm going to drop that one down there. I'm going to come out through this way. And then I'm going to pick that one up. And then I'm just going to swivel right round like that. There. And I'm going to drop it down again. And that will take that bit. I think there's a little tiny bit that's left. And then I can go up and I can drop that into there, and that's not going to work. So I'm going to go down this side and get that bit, and then I can lift it. And then I think there was a little bit here somewhere. Is it out on that side? I don't know if there was a bit there or not. And then I can come over to here, and I can get that bit, and we have done it. We have planted the entire field with barley. We got 91% left in our seed drill. I'm going to go and top that one back up again so it's completely full, and we will leave this one stored full. Now, you wouldn't normally do that. That's not really good practice to go storing it full. In real life, you would store your machine empty, but I don't want to be messing around with more pallets because, quite frankly, I'm getting irritated by the number of pallets that we've got lying around. So it's probably not going to hurt for us to just get rid of some of them. So there, we'll do that. We can set the time scale going now 2 times 5 once again. And I'm actually thinking that we should skip the night, but we'll do that in our next episode because we have run out of time for today's episode. So we will skip time. We will sell wool pallets in the morning, and I'm thinking we're not really going to do a great deal other than looking after the sheep. until we are ready to start the harvest. I want to get on and I want to do this barley harvest. I think it's going to be good fun to start doing something completely different. So if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.